Hello and welcome to Hockey Time on Memory to Video Productions. I'm Dean Cornelio, joined by Joey Delgado. John Murphy running the show for us behind the camera. And tonight, live from Plainville Indoor Sports Arena, we're bringing you F Division deck hockey action between the first place, Big Bad Bruins, and their feisty opponents, the Flames. The Bruins, Joey, enter play 8-0-1. They've had a great season. Give us a little bit about them.
Well, it's really just been a remarkable run for the Bruins. You know, Captain Lou Coleman has every lever that he's pulled this season has turned into winners for him. You know, he went through the free agent process, picked up a few important players, guys with a lot of talent. You know, Nate Lachitz is one of those people. Andy LaRusse is another, and of course the goaltender, you know, Fernando Gomez, is having a remarkable season. They're 8-0-1, as you mentioned. They're looking to close out an undefeated season for the first time in their history. If you're Lou Coleman, you can't be happy with the way things have gone. They lead the league in goal scoring and goal preventing. They lead it in attitude, and they lead most importantly in wins. If they win tonight's season finale, they will enter the playoffs undefeated with 9 wins and 1 tie. And standing in the way of that is their biggest arch rival, the Flames, who they share a long history with, and we'll get to that a little later on in the broadcast. Offensively, they've tortured score sheets all season long, with 6 different players reaching double digits in points. Dave Fostervold, people call him Fozzie, but know him well, like my friend Dean here. He leads the league in scoring with 16 points. He's 2 ahead of Lou Coleman, and teammate Dan Clark leads the league with 12 assists. On defense, it's a veteran unit with big shots, veteran savvy, and a willingness to get their uniforms dirty. Dan Clark, Steve Biskovich, Michael Cianci, and Sean Rifleman Sturgis all have made huge contributions, although I should mention that the man they call CC, Michael Cianci, is out of the lineup tonight. As I mentioned before, in goal, Fernando Gomez has enjoyed an astonishing season in the nets. One of Coleman's huge offseason signings, Gomez has paid dividends with 2 shutouts, a 1.67 GAA, and a .918 save percentage while playing all 9 games this season. It's true that he came in to a team that clearly had a powerful lineup in front of him. He's done nothing to take anything away from that. In fact, he's made them that much more formidable.
Absolutely. And go ahead.
Tell us about the Flames.
They're 3-5-1. They're really battling for playoff position right now. You'd expect that they're going to come out with a heck of an effort tonight. As you mentioned before, they have a history between each other. These teams don't really like each other. That makes for some exciting hockey, but the fact that a playoff spot is at stake for them, you'd really expect them to come out amped up for this one. And who wouldn't love to give the Bruins their first loss and prevent them from getting an undefeated season tonight? So, but on paper, this isn't in their favor. Clearly, it's not in their favor. You mentioned all the things playing against them. The big thing for the Flames, they've had trouble scoring goals. Their leading scorers have 5 goals. They don't have a man, they don't have a player who has double digits in scoring. They've struggled to put the ball in the net. By the same token, their defense has been pretty good. They allow less than 3 goals a game. Their goaltender, Nick Bonnides, he's got a 90% save percentage on a team that's 3-5-1. Pretty impressive, especially in deck hockey. So, defensively, they should hold their own. Offensively, will they be able to put the ball in past Fernando Gomez tonight? That could be the real question here. So the Flames 3-5-1, Bruins 8-0-1. We'll see what happens here tonight. We're going to go get ready for the opening face-off. Bruins and Flames coming up next. Welcome back. We are ready for the start of play here from PISA, this F Division contest. Flames and Big Bad Bruins about to face it off. And the Flames get into the Bruins zone. That's Giannitti, 181, along the boards. And a quick whistle here as it hit the ceiling. And Giannitti, it's nice to see him back, Joey. He was injured in a game not too long ago against Rocket Science, and he separated his shoulder. He's been out for a few games, but this is his first game back, according to what Rob Bonnides, now taking the face-off, mentioned to me. So it's good to see him back and healthy again.
Especially getting ready for the playoff right here.
As we mentioned before, they need this one to have a chance to make the playoffs. And into the netting, over the glass, and the whistle.
Lou Coleman putting his big free agent pickup, Andy LaRusse, number 75 out there. You know he's looking for a chance to put a couple in.
LaRusse, I tell you what, he's played in upper divisions. He doesn't have a lot of points. He's only got 3 points, but his presence is felt, and his reach is unbelievable. He's one of the tallest players out there. And he's sound positionally. Plays a strong game, and a shot, and they score. And right off the bat, it is Nate LaChance off the face-off win. So LaChance gives the Bruins a quick 1-0 lead here.
Yeah, Nate LaChance doesn't spend any time thinking about that shot. He just turns and whips it, and that's, I believe, his 10th goal of the season. Luke Coleman calling him the young sniper, the young gun, and he showed why right there.
Glove side low. This Bruins team is, I'll tell you, one thing that makes them for F division. I mean, they are so balanced, and when you look at other teams in the division, they might have 2 to 3 scorers, go-to guys. You don't see that in F when there are 6 players in double digits in scoring.
Yeah, that's really unbelievable that they have that much balanced scoring.
And that's picked up by Larry Nevins. Pass Bonady's in the middle into the goaltender Gomez. Gomez, a 91.8 save percentage, coming into play tonight. One of the top goalies in the division. LaChance, the goal scorer, had it picked off. Bonady's takes the shot, blocked at the defense by LaRussa. LaRussa has time. Makes a move to the middle, and he'll carry it. Drops it over to LaChance. LaRussa going in the net. LaChance makes some space for himself. LaRussa still in front. That pass knocked over the boards, and the whistle. Nice work there, Joey, but between LaChance and LaRussa really making some, making some pressure happen here for these Bruins.
Really a lot of the skill of the upper division players showing up on that line change. Now we have Lou's second line. It'd be interesting to see how these guys follow up that big shift.
But this is what I was saying. Their second line is like potentially other teams' first in F division.
Sure.
So Skavich on the draw. Now he's playing a center, and Steve has been playing defense most of the time. They are without Cianci tonight. So it looks like LaRussa's taking a defensive spot, and Biskavich has taken the forward unit, so forward spot.
You know, Dean, I haven't seen John Driscoll either. Did you notice if he's actually here or not?
Didn't see him yet. He was expected to be here tonight, but have not seen him yet. Shot goes wide. Here's big Lou Coleman with it now. Lou has some space. Got a man on the far wing, but that was blocked by Nevins. Clark, Biskavich. Now it's LaChance. LaChance will top it to the point, the backhand towards the net. Nevins, and it's cleared away by 42 Mike Mariano. Coleman blocks that pass down. He turns and leaves it for Clark, but wasn't able to get a hold of it, and just out of the zone by Mariano.
Biskavich is such a solid player. He's a lefty. He's got good reach himself. Nice hands, good shot. Won't overdo it ever, and still makes nice plays consistently throughout every game, every shift.
He does, and again with this team is that we get the whistle as it went off of Gomez and up into the ceiling. But this team has played together for so long, which is another difference in terms of F division. I recall, because I played here a few years, and these guys have played with NWO originally back in C and D division. Dave Fostervold is now on their team. In fact, that's him right there, number 12, and on the wing. And Fozzie, I was on a Fozzie's team with the Avalanche, and we had a battle with NWO constantly all the time. And now the 5 main guys of this team have stayed together and are now on these big bad Bruins, still playing together 8-10 years later. So again, different. You don't see many F division teams where they really know where each other's going to be. Nice pass over. Walking it in, shooting, and that was deflected off the defenseman Downey. Up top and cleared out of the zone by Loretta Hoynes. LaRussa goes D to D. LaChance will glove it down to himself and take the slapper, and a stick save by Bonadise. Fozzie in front, the shot, the one-timer, and Bonadise to stop. Great save there by Nick. On the opportunity by Dan Clark. There's two, Dan and Don. Dan right there, number 8 in the Bruins jersey. Sent in deep by Joel Downey. LaRussa stops, gives a look off the boards to Fostervold. Fostervold still has it. It'll be a 2-on-1 with Coleman. Oh, and it's broken up by Brooke Kelly. Now still deep in the zone, however. Fozzie guarded by Kelly. Battle here right in front of us in the corner. And that's Downey out of the zone. Taken by Sean Sturgis. Sturgis, he's got 5 goals, 11 points on the campaign. That's gloved down. Fostervold will take it. Tried to set it over to Coleman. Delayed offside. Now they regain the center line. Slapped in. Bonadis gets a stick on it and over the scoreboard for the whistle.
The Big Bad Bruins getting the best of the early part of the play here so far. A lot of possession time, good forechecking, a bunch of keeps so far by the defense. They're looking really good. It's great evidence of what you spoke about earlier, Dean, with the familiarity that a lot of these players have with each other.
Yeah, they just really know where each other's going to be, and again, unlike many F division teams. Slapped around, and now that's going to go for icing against the Flames. These teams have met once previously. The Bruins winning a 6-4 tussle, and it was 5-4. They actually scored an empty netter to win it. So it was a good, hard-fought game. The only team to get a point against the Bruins is the Shockers this year. They earned a tie against them. No one else has been able to get a point. So Miscavige wins it cleanly, but right between his points of Don Clark and LaRussa. And now, will that be a delay of game? As the goaltender Gomez played it up. That may be a warning. Boney's actually asking here the opposing goaltender, and it is in fact a warning. Sometimes, depending whom, that's been called a delay of game because it went straight out. But a warning on Gomez.
The goalie right there. There really isn't much choice. He's not purposely trying to go above the line. He's just trying to get out of trouble.
And trouble here in Flame zone. LaChance across. It's Coleman. Coleman will shoot. And he was looking for Miscavige coming in the back door. Who's got it now? Giving it to LaChance. Winds and fires. And a blocker save. Didn't know where the rebound was. And it goes off of Don Clark and out of the zone. Good flurry there by the Big Bad Bruins. Stick lifted. And LaChance takes it from Bonadis. Coleman looking for Miscavige. Now he's got it. Side the net. Miscavige gets it over to LaChance. Giving LaChance a lot of room here, Joey, to make a play.
Really
Decide what he wants to do. And I don't even think he saw it. That slapper from the point by Sean Sturgis, Joey. And
Sean Sturgis, he took advantage of an opportunity. The ball came right out to him. You can see the Flames goaltending very upset right now. He never saw that shot, Dean. It went straight in. He was looking around when the ball was actually coming off the twine.
But they gave LaChance a lot more time than you really should give a player of his caliber.
Absolutely.
In that juncture. So I can understand the goalie's frustration. Nick's had a good season for the Flames despite their 3-5-1 mark. He's got a 2.3 goals against average and a 90% save percentage. So they just don't score. Their problem has been offense.
Exactly right. You can't score, you can't win, and that's really been a huge problem. The exact opposite of what the Bad Bruins have experienced this season. They've scored seemingly at will sometimes. They lead the league in goals. They have, as you mentioned, 6 players in double digits.
Right.
Well, what's going on here?
Was it an offsides? No, we have looks like a penalty
on the Flames. So now we'll get a chance to look at the more offense from the Bruins as they go on the power play.
Yeah, that's Giannitti. So Giannitti will sit for a minute. About 3 minutes to play here in the first period. The Bruins hold a 2-0 advantage.
But wait, this looks like it might be just unsportsmanlike as we still have. No, I'm sorry. It's 5-on-4.
So the Bruins will look to add to their lead. The chance. Gets it back. Slapper. Again, I don't know the boner he saw, but the shot went wide. Here's Dan Clark. Back to Don. Winding one-timer over the net. Fozzie tried to get it. Now that shot goes wide by Dan Clark. Sturgis.
Nice look.
Dan Clark has Fosterville calling for it. Gets to Fozzie over the net.
The shots have hit the net.
Slapper, and that's blocked by Bonadis. And we get the whistle, and the Flames will gladly take the little break there, Joey. That was quite the flurry. Face off to the left of the goaltender, Bonadis. His brother Rob taking the draw against Dan Clark. The Bruins control it. Bonadis blocked it, and face-off will remain deep in the Flame zone.
You know, really impressive movement on the power play by the Bruins.
Yeah.
But a lot of their shots either going wide, getting blocked. Fortunately, they're getting the rebounds, so they're getting another crack at it. But they got to find a way to get those shots on net.
They do have 2 power play goals in the season, according to the official statistics, and they average about nearly 28 shots a game. So they're certainly getting their opportunities every period. LaRussa will give it to Sturgis. And remains deep. Mariano with the keep in there. The chance now. The defenseman, fortunately, kind of half committed, and then he didn't get caught doing so. He's able to knock the ball away from LaChance. It was a good play by 55 Keel Downey. Sturgis, and that'll go for icing.
Curious play by Sturgis.
Yeah.
You have to know where the blue line is. You have to get the blue line. If you want to shoot it in, that's fine. But
He didn't. It wasn't even a half step away though, and he could have had negated the icing on that one. But face off back into Bruins territory to the left of Gomez. Hasn't seen much action this period. Fernando's had an easy first 10 minutes thus far. The chance. He's going to try and break away from. Oh, and the pass broken up by Bonadis. Coleman there in front. Dan Clark, who's knocked down. Shot in on Gomez, and he'll hold to the whistle.
you know that play, the start of that play, is a good example of how the Bruins could hurt you. It didn't materialize this time. As long as the chance is out there, there's always a threat of a breakaway, a 2-on-0, some sort of breakdown, because his speed and skill is probably just a little bit too much for most players to handle.
And could you imagine right now this team, one player they're missing is Coleman Jr., Lou's son, because of an ACL tear. If they had him and LaChance together, there wouldn't be a team that could compete speed-wise. They have enough problem with LaChance alone.
Coleman Jr. is all about speed. He's got
Right.
good size too. That kid is fast.
Right. So imagine him without the ACL tear. They just added another weapon to their squad, which I'm not sure his expected time to return, but I think it's going to be a little while still. Sturgis backhand and past the defense. It's picked up with an opportunity. Oh, and Biscavage is stopped by Bonadis there. He was checking between the pads. Thought that ball might have squeezed through, but it didn't.
Biscavage has the ability to put that ball in most of the places he wants to. I'm sure he was going 5-hole there, and he did get 5-hole. He just didn't get it all the way through.
Looking like he belongs as forward too. Defense, forward. I guess he's trying to make a statement for Captain Lou. Clark loses the draw, and it went right to the side of the net, though. Off the glove of Don Clark. LaRussa helps him out. Plays it over to Biscavage. Up here for Don Clark. Trying to get it to his brother Dan. Backhanded out of the zone by Downey. Nevins. Here's LaRussa. Under a minute to go. And out of the zone. LaRussa. Gomez will leave it. And he'll cover as Loretta Hoynes coming in, hoping for a loose ball, but Gomez had other ideas.
Gomez, a crafty veteran himself. He came on this team really only because normal goaltender Michael Schneider, the man they call Spanky, was unable to play the season. So in steps Gomez and says, "Why not? You know, I'll go ahead and pick up a couple shutouts for you. I'll go undefeated. I'll have a GAA less than 2. Yeah, why not?"
Knowing the team he's going to have in front of him, not a bad gig to take. And it is nice for him, having played with Cornelio in the past. He's been on some teams that haven't won nearly as much. And, for example, Narcissus in F1, they've had some rough seasons. He's been their goalie, and he hasn't experienced a lot of winning seasons necessarily in that division. It's nice for him to be able to get rewarded for the effort on a team like this.
Absolutely, absolutely. A guy that's been around a long time, played for a lot of teams, as you said, and every now and then you get your due, I guess. You know, if you just got to keep working hard and play well, and sometimes you can enjoy seasons like this.
Thought about cranking it up, hit the official Leposki. Shot wide by Fozzie as time runs out in the first period. So, after one, Bruins holding a 2-0 edge over the Flames. Biskevich, Fostervold, Coleman started off in the second period here for the big bad Bruins, who hold a 2-0 lead, 2 first period goals. Fozzie kicks it in deep, and now it's slapped in on Gomez, who plays it to the corner. Don Clark with it. Fostervold. Fozzie, one of his patent moves is he loves to flip it by the defense. He'll flip and run. And trust me, I know I've been a victim of it enough times on the other end. And look for him to do that as it's gloved by Bonades. But look for Fozzie if he gets some open space, which he hasn't had much yet. But if he does, look for him to try and do that to get around quickly, blow by some of their defensemen, because he's got that knack. While they've said he might have lost the step, he still gets that little burst, and off he goes right by you.
Clearly a savvy veteran as he leads the league in scoring this season.
And that one somehow goes into Skavich. Again, hey, Captain Lou, look out. This guy's got a looking for a forward spot.
It's going to be tough to find one out there, though.
So he makes it 3-0. Biskevich just his third.
And Biskevich showing a lot of poise on that play, actually. I know it was a rebound. He just sort of chipped it in, but he knew exactly what to do. He just reached out with it. He's got a bit of a good reach himself.
Right.
And he just poked it in, and it kind of went in the air a little bit, went over the goalie. Or at least went past him, I think.
Yep.
3-0. And, you know, if you're on the Flames bandwagon right now, you're waiting for these guys to start putting some balls in the net, because this game's starting to get away from them.
And they need it for any chance to make the playoffs. Really, a loss here would pretty much cement their standing at this point.
Right. So they need to start showing a little bit more intensity, I think.
I mean, there's a 5-team logjam between 6 to 8 points for the bottom of the division. The only team that's out is Agent Orange. Everybody else is still mathematically alive. However, a loss here by the Flames, again, would put them in real danger.
And really, they're fortunate to be, in a way, in the position that they're even in, because there's 8 teams, 6 of those make the playoffs, as I learned today. And right now they own that 6th spot. However, this is their final game, so if they don't get this, they can be passed.
What would need to happen, and forecasting ahead, in less than 48 hours, if the Flames lose this, the Dragons would need to beat Rocket Science on Monday night to then get a chance to then get into the playoffs, because they're 3-6. So they win, they're 4-6, and outgo the Flames.
Outgo the Flames.
And
Dean, I believe you know a little bit about Rocket Science.
I might, yeah. It was a tough game this afternoon, actually, but had Rocket Science beat the Shockers, they would have cemented their spot in a good playoff position. However, That didn't happen with a 3-0 loss. So now the Shockers have overtaken the Flames, and they're tied with Rocket Science with another game to go. So sent wide to Gomez, who lets it go, and icing on the Flames.
It looks to me like the Flames just don't know how to get the transition game going. They're doing a lot of icing and taking a lot of long distance shots. Doesn't seem like they're able to control the neutral zone very well with any type of possession. And I'm just going to chalk that up to the Bruins forechecking. You know, it's been pretty dominant, and it's helped them get a 3-0 lead and take control of this game.
LaRussa, and it's sent back in. Here's the Flames on Gomez. He plays it to the corner to LaRussa. LaRussa tries to reverse it over here for Sturgis. Sturgis end around and by Giannitti. Dan Clark over here for LaChance. LaChance will wind and shoot. Woo! And it was fortunate it was blocked by the defenseman. That was Bill Kelly, or else he's a forward, but blocked by Kelly, or else I don't know the Bonardies again would have had a good sight to see that before it was right on top of him.
Well, Dean, once again, you have better eyes than me, because I actually thought that went past the D and went off the blocker.
Perhaps it did, and sometimes my 4 eyes is not to my advantage. I'll admit it, but
in any case, it was a great shot.
And just by Don Clark, LaRussa around as Giannitti pressures him. Bonardi's now putting pressure on Clark. Loretta centers it, and Bonardi's trying to get a shot opportunity, trying to stuff one home. Instead, it's to the line and out by Coleman. LaChance trying to work it away from Kelly. LaChance gets it. Back to Coleman. The faceoff dot. Now drops it to Clark. DC winds, shoots, blocked. Coleman shouting at Clark to go. Lou will wind and fire it. Goes into the corner. And back here to Bonardi's, but Coleman with the keep as a man in the corner. Gets it to him, LaChance. And I think we have coincidental penalties coming up here on the play in front. The official Leposki, the back official, calling coincidental penalties.
I didn't actually see what happened, Dean. I guess they must have just been tangling for position in front of the net.
So it looks like Don Clark and Rob Bonardi's. So they'll each sit for a minute. Will not affect man's strength. It'll remain 5-on-5. Piscavich will take the face-off for the Bruins. He took some time off from hockey. He had knee problems and was away for quite some time from the game, and just decided to come back, and look, tonight he's got a goal already. So,
and he's looked really good. I've seen him play in the C level, play defense there, and here we go.
Just knocked that one down. And a Fostervold from LaChance, and count Piscavich in there as well. Great passing play between those three. And it's 4-0 in favor of the Bruins.
Go.
Back into the Bruins zone. Fostervold. He couldn't get it by Downey. Downey with it. Bad angle. Takes the shot.
Good shot.
Gomez got a glove on it. Giannitti up top. And you got to keep that in if you're the defenseman, and it's Chris Rooch.
Great forechecking by the Bruins. Look at this.
LaChance, no surprise, trying to hit Piscavich with it. Nice backhand pass. Mariano. Lou Coleman has time. This isn't really Mariano takes it away. I was going to say it's not much of a fair size match there, Mariano against Coleman, but Flames control it anyway.
You're clearly right about the size disadvantage there. I've seen Mariano play in the higher levels with Nick and Nate LaChance, the two brothers. He holds his own pretty good for a guy his size.
Yeah, Giannitti guarded by Fostervold, centering pass for, and that one was just sent wide. Took a snap at it and had a good opportunity, did Downey. And Gomez was going to cover, but Sturgis took it. Sturgis again along the dasher there.
Oh,
Kept in.
nice play by Nate.
Still in. And that may have gone off the Flames player. Back underway. Sturgis off the boards to Dan Clark. Delayed offsides. Piscavage is off. He's going to have to come back and regain the line. Flames have plenty of time to bring it out, make something happen. But they took a little too long.
Such a fierce forecheck that the Bruins have. Deceptively fierce.
Well, they know they can do it because of the depth they have. They list their leadership, their strength as leadership. I list their strength as depth. I mean, again, for F, it's unbelievable. And anybody can go out there and play any position. Sturgis. Here's Bonity. And Piscavage got a piece of it, and we get the whistle.
It's interesting that you say that, Dean, because I thought last season that Old Time Hockey, which finished the season undefeated, I believe,
Right.
I thought they had a similar type of lineup with so many players that seemed to be dominant at this level, so many players that could score. Of course, they wound up moving up as a result of that, probably. But the Big Bad Bruins are similar in that way.
And they were talking about that before the game, the notion of they might have to move up, and Luke Holman trying to talk to the powers that be here at the rink to not allow that to happen because so many players play in the upper divisions that they'd end up losing one or two teams, potentially.
It's a tough decision, then. What do you want to do? Do you want to stay at this level with most of your players, or do you want to give up a Nate LaChance and then stay? I mean, what do you want to do?
That may be what the the ownership decides, to give Luke Holman put it back in his court, but time will tell soon enough. Flipped and out of the zone. Don Clark. Intended for Dan. And Coleman blocked that. Coleman, I think he wanted to wind up. He probably could have got a quick wrister off and made it just as effective. Sturgis took that one away. Up to LaChance. LaChance. Intended for Coleman. And sent in on Gomez. Fernando's really only faced one or two Flames flurries in this period. And again, he had a relatively easy first period, so he's had himself a good night so far. LaRussa now taking a wing. And he'll run it down. He'll get to it first. He's got speed and size. He's a playmaker. Nice work by the official Leposki to hurdle that, and we got a delayed penalty coming up. Holding.
Who is it on?
Good question. Couldn't tell
I think
who.
it's on LaRussa, but I'm not sure. He's smiling.
That's usually the first guilty sign, isn't it?
LaRussa, no stranger to penalties. He's gotten a few. He's definitely a good player, but he's also a player who can get penalties. And in fact, last season, while a member of Old Time Hockey, he was suspended for the season after punching out his own teammate.
But the funny thing is, right now, he's only got one penalty this season.
That's
so
true.
who knows? Maybe you've given this team, he's turned over another leaf. Who knows?
I kind of wonder if maybe somebody from the rink spoke to him and said, "Listen, if you come back, you have to tone down your game." It is interesting that he has so few points period. You know, as you mentioned earlier, for such an excellent player with so many skills and tools.
Yeah.
And he also only has the one penalty going into this one. So
I guess he's toned it down in more ways than one then, literally.
sometimes it happens that way, though, Dean. You know, you're out there playing and you purposely take a step back, and as a result of that, your points will suffer, but your involvement does, so you don't get as involved in other things, and you don't get penalties, I guess.
Clark and Bonadis. It's one to LeChance, and LeChance will flip it deep as the Bruins are on the penalty kill. Rush. D-to-D pass. Actually, that's Janity. And Coleman, who so smartly uses his body on those instances along the wall. Most people don't have a chance when he does that.
And he knows it.
Right.
He is fully aware of the size advantage that he has, and he enjoys it. Not only is he aware of it, he enjoys it.
He's calling for the pass now, and he gets it from Don Clark. In the middle to Dan. And they so smartly waste some time. But Big Lou would, and we got a penalty coming up, or do we? No, it's a delayed offsides. And they touch up, and the whistle, as it was touched by Mike Mariano.
Yeah, that did look like Nate was going to go. He hit him a little hard, and he went flying into the boards. As referee Jim looks up at us here.
Yep.
He's wondering if we're wondering if that should have been a call.
Sometimes we do end up wondering, Mr. Sabatini, but he likes to keep us guessing. So, you know, it happens.
Jim knows how to have a good time out here, I think.
He's been a real. Oh, that one just wide. What a sneaky backhand by LeChance.
I think nobody expected him to hit the ball that well, and not even him.
Gomez. Look out. In front. Open shot. And he hit the crossbar. Rebound. And it goes wide. Wow. Gomez created that situation himself. Gomez has had some defensemen do that to him and scare him in front of the net. I won't mention any names. One whose voice might be on this broadcast.
Oh.
However, but and now.
Lou Coleman.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Coleman and Janity. Coleman and Janity. Coleman and Janity exchanging pleasantries.
Coleman making sure that there's a date later on for 10 o'clock.
That's true,
what
too.
I heard.
He mustn't have anything to do after the game, so maybe they go get some dinner, sliders. I don't know.
Well, you know, Dean, you know better
Throw
than
some
me.
wings at each other.
These two teams have a long history. They're still joining in the two penalty boxes. They may get more. These two teams have a long history. They started out apparently. We've got some other people on the court. Looks like Fozzie was about to exchange words with somebody and then thought better of it. But these two teams apparently started out as sporties about 8 seasons ago, about 2 years ago. Then broke off. Sporties broke off into two different factions, and eventually they became these two teams, the Flames and the Bruins. And I guess there's been some bad blood for a long time.
And the Flames were called Central Calf all the way up to last season. They just changed the name. So, and Central Calf had some real lean years as we get the horn, and that'll do it again. The Bruins dominate another period of hockey and really have jumped out in front to a big lead here that they are one period away from cementing their first undefeated season in team history. So we'll be back with the third period in just a moment. Bruins with a big lead here on the Flames. Back for the start of third period action. Bruins holding a 4-0 edge. 2 in the first, 2 in the second. They've been very consistent. And that one, look out, making sure the bench is paying attention over there. Quick whistle. Sturgis giving his own team a wake-up call. This team's really set up, as you were talking about them with old-time hockey last year. Now, this being the team like old-time you feel this year. And this is a team that hasn't won a championship. They did play in one about 4 seasons ago, and SS&C Technologies beat them. But this is really about as good a chance as they're going to have to win one, you would have to think.
Absolutely, and if they're being scrutinized by the PISA management for being too dominating, this could be a different roster come next season.
After all, I believe their best has only been 5 wins, correct? 5-3-2, I believe, has been their best record.
That's absolutely correct, and you got to think.
And that's in 7 seasons. We're not talking 1 or 2 here.
Right.
So.
Right. So clearly, Lou Coleman deserves the Executive of the Year award for the changes that he's made. Picking up people like Andy LaRussa, Nate LaChance, and Fernando Gomez. Those kinds of things have really worked out for them.
LaChance with a drive. Sent wide.
Boy, now what you're thinking about potentially is look at that old-time hockey example. They went undefeated until they played the playoff game. And that first round of the playoffs, that's one and done.
Correct.
And in my opinion, that gives the advantage to the underdog. All you have to do is catch the other team on one bad day.
Right.
And then you've knocked them off.
And they will finish first. They will get a bye into the semifinals, but they do have to win that game to get to the finals. I think at 2 out of 3, they're in as good shape as anybody.
Sure.
As they could have one off game and still be all right. But,
absolutely.
But as you mentioned, the one and done scenario is never a good feeling for the team that should win.
Well, it's
as clearly as they separate themselves. Yeah.
It's happened many times in adult hockey, and in fact, years ago when I was in California playing in an adult league, I was on a team that went 10-0, and we lost in the first round of the playoffs because it was a one and done kind of deal. And I always remember that the other team scored first, and that there was a person on my team that said, "Hey, no big deal, we've been down before." And the other guy said, "Actually, no, we haven't."
way to impose self-doubt. I mean, nothing like trying to shake it off. Was that you, Joey, who said that?
No, actually, I heard that story after the game.
Okay. So you were on the deck giving up the first goal.
It probably was, yeah. That was probably my fault, as it usually is. So I've definitely been on the wrong side of that deal. And that's exactly what the Big Bad Bruins would like to avoid going forward. So right now they're in control of this game. They don't want anything to get out of control, have somebody lost for the playoffs due to a penalty situation, bad blood, whatever. They should be thinking big picture here. They should be thinking about finishing off the season the right way.
I think they will, based on there are a lot of veterans on the team. They know. Shot, Gomez the save. Bonades has been a little busy down here. LaChance had an opportunity earlier and gave it up and made a pass across. And that was one of the few times he probably should have taken a shot. But he tried to pass it over. Now at the other end. 2-on-1 there against Clark, and Mariano trying to play in front of the net. Sturgis holding his ground to the point, and Coleman works it away, not out. Mariano. Clark blocked off the pass. Got right in that passing lane. Clark does a good job there positionally.
That was a tough shift for him. He's still out there, but he was fighting and battling in that corner the entire time trying to get it out. He finally did.
Flipped out. Bruins with a 4-0 lead. They are minutes away from their first undefeated season in team history. Worked away from Giannitti. Now LaChance over the line. LaChance a one-on-one. Makes a move to his backhand. Holds up. Dan Clark go to the net, and that was tipped and broken up by Giannitti. Now on the wing. Nice play by LaRussa. Oh. Got the stick up there on LaRussa. Did the Flames player. I'm surprised. Nothing there. LaRussa didn't retaliate, though. Into the middle. Nice play by Coleman. Clark to Coleman has a man back door, and we're right between the wickets. Don Clark fires it. Oh, and glove by Bonades. Great save there by Nick. On the chance by Clark at the right point.
That's when you have the glove in the right place at the right time. He saw it at the very last second and made sure that he didn't move the glove out of the way.
So Coleman will remain out there with Dan Clark Fostervold steps out. Don Clark and LaRussa round out the Bruins 5. Clark wins it from Bonadis. Fostervold has it. He'll wind. He'll shoot one wide. Coleman in front for Dan Clark. Tipped off his stick into the near corner. Here's Fozzie. Oh, and it tipped right off of one Bonadis to the other. And Nick able to keep it out of the net. Leposki got in the way of that, the official. Clark off the side of the net. Bonadis will glove it and hold on to the draw.
Long shift here for Coleman's line. They must be smelling the upcoming goal.
You mentioned that scenario of the first game of the playoffs, and I think that's going to go for icing. No icing. It's waved off. And last year, boy, did they lose a heartbreaker in triple overtime in their first playoff game to the Shockers.
Nice save.
Ironically, not enough. As I mentioned earlier, the Shockers the only team to get a point on the Bruins this year. So you never know. They're dangerous when they have the right personnel. Triple overtime.
You don't see that too often around here, do you?
In the playoffs?
Do you?
Sometimes games get backed up a good half hour here when that stuff happens, because it affects all the other games. They keep playing until somebody's going to win. I guess you have to do that. It's only that everybody else gets frustrated when all their games are starting at 9:45 instead of 9 o'clock. Gomez leaves it for Sturgis.
I think you are the grizzled veteran here. You've probably seen just about everything there is to see.
Or experience because of my own blunders.
Ooh.
Now, if I was in front of that on Gomez, I would have tipped it by him on my own goaltender. That's one of my specialties, especially for Fernando. Because he enjoys that.
Are you saying that his defense is trying hard now?
I'm saying if he had better defensemen in front of him, his save percentage would be even better. I'm not talking about this Bruins team. I'm talking about some of his past teams. Ostervold. Today he can't get around LaRussa. LaRussa again with the reach. Now he does. And a good job by LaRussa to try and get a piece of that. Sent back in front. Sturgis breaks it up and will clear the zone. They have good patience with that. He doesn't get nervous. The ball's right in front like that. They just easily play it out of the zone and clear it seemingly every time. Nevins, he's got 9 points for the Flames. 3 goals, 6 helpers. There's only one player on the Flames. Well, I'm sorry, there's no players. We mentioned their depth. We mentioned a couple times how the Bruins have 6 players in double figures. Nevins, who's got the ball right now, winding and shooting, he's got 9 points. He's their highest point getter. They don't have one player in double figures through the Flames. Coleman. Nice play there to break it up. Skevich. Fostervold blocked by Nevins. Nevins, this could be a heavyweight tussle here. Nevins and Coleman end up banging into each other. And the whistle.
You know, you mentioned Evans, and there's 3 minutes to go here in the game. You mentioned Nevins, and the leading goal scorer on this team, or the leading point getter, I should say, with 9 points, says a couple different things. You know, obviously they're offensively challenged because he's a defensive defenseman.
Right.
Also, it says that he completely understands Gretzky's old axiom of taking enough shots to score. Right? I mean, you can't score unless you shoot.
He loves to shoot.
He does
and
do
he
that.
shoots from anywhere.
Right.
The final 3 minutes of this one. Bruins in command. And another whistle there as Mariano and Clark went off both of them, causing the whistle. Faceoff will remain inside the Bruins zone.
I have to say I'm slightly disappointed by the lack of fire from the Flames today. I really thought that I'd see a little bit more considering the history, the background that these two teams share, how important this game is to them. But they really have put very, very little pressure on the Bruins.
You wouldn't know that a playoff position was at stake by watching their effort tonight.
I completely agree. You know, where's the fire, Flames?
Had to wait for the goaltender to get his gear back. Sturgis allows Loretta Hoynes to have it. Centered it. And it was Janitti trying to poke that one by Gomez, who said no. You mentioned John Driscoll not being here, and a funny note earlier by Luke Coleman. He asked me to mention this, and we hope John doesn't get too upset now. Knowing John, number 324 on this team, one of the biggest players in the game. And John told Lou a story, something you probably want to keep to yourself, that he...
So we'll tell it on air.
So we'll tell it on air to the world, because Lou said it's okay. So John, if you hear this, blame Lou. Although Lou and John may both come at me next game we play each other, but
and then you're on your own.
Then I'm
there.
sandwiched. Then I'm really mincemeat. Thanks, Joey, for coming to my friend.
The show must go on.
But Driscoll mentioned to Lou how he enjoyed getting a pedicure at one time, and that's not something that, Lou said, well, we wonder if tonight, with him not being here, maybe he had an appointment. Maybe he had another appointment. Lou's got to be wondering where Driscoll is.
He's got to be wondering that.
So
I think he's also got to be wondering about the pedicure thing anyway. I'm wondering about that.
So, there are too many hockey players, or I guess men for that matter, talking about getting a pedi. But it is what it is. I wonder if he's getting a mani-pedi combination. Who knows? Whatever floats his boat. But anyway.
Do they make pedicure chairs big enough for him?
That's a good question. Fozzie misses the net. To the line, not out. Sturgis will wind and shoot off Mariano, and the whistle as it goes over the boards.
John Driscoll will tell you that he is 6'7", but he won't tell you his weight. I won't argue with him on being 6'7".
No.
He could be 6'6", he could be 6'7", doesn't really matter. All I know is that's a lot of man right there.
It is, and a lot of man to get a pedi. But anyway.
I would even argue too much man for a pedi.
Into the corner. The Scavenge. In front, broken up Nevins. And LaRussa can't keep it in. It's the delayed offsides.
And
Nevins, will he get to the line and slap it? Let me guess, he will. And it goes off Piscavage into the corner.
He got the blue line.
Nevins just trying to create something for his team.
Sure.
You can't blame the guy.
Absolutely.
LaRussa, certainly the size advantage on Mariano here. And that one, Bonadis comes out to play it. LaRussa after it. Nevins, he's got Fozzie there as well, and he's able to clear it. Piscavage back to LaRussa. Over here, Fozzie.
We're in the final minute of the game here. Obviously, the Bruins, they just want to pretty much mail this in. It's done as far as they're concerned. Stick a fork in it and move on. Get ready for the playoffs. That's what they're thinking about right now.
Yeah, they cemented this one pretty early on. The dominance was set from the get-go.
They're probably also thinking it'd be nice for Gomez to get one more shutout. He comes in with two. And
I think he'd take the league lead if he was able to get one more. There is I believe another goaltender with two shutouts,
but there's no other goalie with his 1.67 GAA.
Yeah, but the save percentage is now in favor of the Shockers goaltender, Scott Miller, after his shutout today of Rocket Science with a 3-0 win there. So Gomez no longer has the goalie best percentage as the horn sounds and time runs out in this one. And the Bruins, again, a convincing win. Gomez does get his third shutout of the season. And really, congratulations to him and the Bruins on completing their first undefeated season. So after 7 seasons, long overdue, I guess, for them. Again, their best record coming in was 5-3-2 for a season. And now 9-0-1, clearly the favorite in F Division. We're back after a big Bruins victory tonight as they conclude their season with a 9-0-1 mark. The Flames flame out tonight, lose, get shut out. They finished 3-6-1, and really, we talked about it at the beginning, Joey. We thought it'd be an inspired effort trying to get a playoff spot, and it really wasn't.
Yeah, it's kind of befuddling, I think is the word that I would use here, which I don't use very often. But you would expect them to come out with a lot of fire, live up to their new name, the Flames. They've got all that history between the two teams.
Right.
They don't like them. They have extra reason to try their hardest and make sure that they put out the best possible performance that they possibly can.
Yeah.
And instead of giving us a lot of fire, they flamed out. Not a good way to go into the playoffs if they make it in the playoffs.
Right now, they're really on the outside looking in, but on the other hand, the Bruins dominant from the beginning. 2 goals in the first period, 2 goals in the second period. They really took control early on both offensively. You had LeChance, Piskevich, others. Defensively, LaRousse. I mean, there's a number of players to talk about. Fernando Gomez getting his 3rd shutout, but a lot of players to highlight here for this team.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really a total team effort. The team enters the game with 6 players in double digits in scoring, and you can't even look at the score sheet and find one guy that really stands out. They score a bunch of goals, get a bunch of assists, and they're kind of spread out evenly.
And that truly is the strength of their team, and it will be a strength as we head into the playoffs. And that's going to be our next broadcast, Tuesday night, November 20th, a 10 p.m. contest, as they will be the number 1 seed, taking on the winner of the 4-5 game. Who that opponent will be, who knows? To be determined, we don't know yet. So that'll be our next one, and that's going to wrap it up from here. From PISA, for John Murphy, and for Joey Delgado, I'm Dean Cornelio. Good night once again. Bruins finish their season 9-0-1, undefeated for the first time in team history. Good night, everybody.